about. I often talk about the marriage relationship, intimacy in marriage, how we can be closer with our spouse. I do a lot of lifestyle posts also, and so you guys can check out what I'm blogging about at lovehopeadventure.com. And today I wanted to talk about just more body positive messages. I had been asked to talk about this, and I think it's so important in our marriage that we have a good idea about our body, like a good self-image. And if you don't know, I have 3 boys, and the oldest is almost 11. He'll be 11 in a couple of months. My youngest is 4. And as a pregnant woman, I put on 40 pounds with my 2 older ones, and it all went straight to my stomach. I put on only about 20 pounds with my 3rd kid, but I'll tell you, I didn't lose that 20 pounds naturally. I really had to work hard at it, and I even gained a little bit of weight after I had him. But for me, my stomach, obviously, after 3 kids, is not in the kind of shape it was in before I had children. And I'll tell you, it's really bothered me for this reason. I've never been a thin person necessarily, and as a teenager, my waist was pretty thin. It was like 29 inches or 28 inches, which was very small, considering the fact that I had such big hips, and I think I was like 44 inches around in the hips. So really small waist. It was a little bit frustrating because 0 pants ever fit me. Like, I always had the biggest gap. Now, of course, pants come lower, so it's easier to fit, and if you have a small waist, it doesn't matter quite as much because there's not as much distance, you know what I mean, between your waist and your hips. Guys, I don't know, my dog's walking around behind me, so if you see things going back and forth, it's my dog today. He's kind of been a little loud with the scratching over there. Anyways, so for me, I had a pretty thin stomach, and because I struggled so much with the way I looked growing up as a teenager, my stomach was the one thing I actually really loved. And, oh, you were 120 in high school? Well, I weighed 150 in high school, and I weigh 150 now. So it took me a lot to get back down to 150, but I'm definitely not one of those people that was ever that thin. So I basically look the same today as I did when I was growing up, with, obviously some exceptions. But for the most part, I basically look the same, and I could wear the same clothes if I had to. So, but with exception of my stomach. And what has really been hard for me as an older person is that I finally accepted that my hips, my butt, my legs, and all that, my arms, my calves, guys, I'm kind of a thick person. That stuff's never going to get much smaller. I can spend all day long exercising it all, and it might get a little bit smaller, but all the way around, I'm definitely going to be, I wore a size 12 in high school. I wear a size 10 now, and I think that some of that is due to maybe like sizes are different. I don't know, but I've never worn a 10 in my life until now. So probably a lot of the weight must be off of my, my legs and hips. And so I do think maybe that's smaller than it used to be, but my stomach is huge. And why wouldn't it be? I mean, it's stretched like you cannot imagine. 40 pounds right here on my stomach. I could shove down the pants, like normal pants, underneath my stomach and wear them when I was pregnant. So I know it was all like right here. I really looked very ridiculous. My husband says I'm very short. I am 5'2", so I'm not a tall person whatsoever, and I'm pretty short, and I honestly don't even realize how short I am until I see pictures of myself, because everyone in my life is taller than I am, and it doesn't really bother me, but when I see pictures, I'm like, wow, I'm really short. So I'm not the tallest person on the planet. In the last year, probably, I really started looking at my stomach, and it kind of all started when I went to the water park last year. And I blogged about this. I blogged about what happened to me when I went to the water park last summer. I put on my bathing suit. I had lost, in the years previous, almost 30 pounds. And obviously I was as thin as I have ever been in my life. So I go to the water park and I've got on my swimsuit and I'm like, well, I don't ever feel all that good in swimwear, but I'm going to go, I'm going to have a good time. The people I'm with are not going to care what I think about the way I look or whatever. And I get there and I start seeing all of these women wearing their bikinis and their two-pieces and their bathing suits, whatever they look like. And immediately I started like looking around and really comparing myself to the way everyone else looked. Now, listen, I'm not terribly unrealistic here. I do not look at models and think, well, I should look like that model, because there is no way in the world any of us are going to look that airbrushed, right? I mean, maybe some people are really great genes. I don't know. But even models don't look that good, because if they did, they wouldn't have to airbrush the stuff out of these pictures, right? So we go to a water park, and I'm not going to compare myself to something unrealistic, so I'm not going to look at all the girls there that have never had one kid and go, well, why don't I look like her? You know, no. But I did see a lot of moms there toting around their children, and they had 2 or 3 kids in tow, so they were in the exact same boat that I'm in. They all looked to be about the same age as me. And I was looking at their stomachs and just going, what is wrong with my stomach? You know, it is not as small as theirs. What are they doing? That baby looks like they're only 7 months old, and she doesn't have a stomach, and she's got 3 other kids with her. And here I am, my youngest is going to be 5 in a couple months, and my stomach is bigger than that. And so it really, really was hard for me, because I started comparing, which is like the #1 thing I tell you guys not to do if you want to feel beautiful. Don't compare yourself to others. Limit your what you're looking at. So I don't read beauty magazines, and I stay off of beauty websites and stuff, because I just feel ugly when I read that stuff. And it was so hard for me to go to the water park and be around a bunch of other people that were in the same boat as me, doing it like so much better. You know what I mean? Like they're wearing their bathing suits so much better. And the truth is that those women were probably there feeling just as self-conscious as I was, and probably saw other women around them that had them beat. Because guys, really, the truth is there's always someone that looks better than you. And that's all there is to it. There might be someone out there that you think looks worse than you. I mean, I hope that you're not comparing on either end of that. I hope that you're not saying, well, I look better than them, or I don't look as good as them. I hope that you'll stop all comparisons, because it's not fair to yourself or to those other people, honestly. And so for me, over the last years, that moment, you know, the like 3 or 4 hours that we spent at that water park, yeah, and she says she can dress herself to look good. So someone said that their sister is always on the heavy side, but you can dress to look good, and I get that. I think you can definitely dress to look good. But I am not talking only about feeling good in the clothes you wear. I want you guys to feel good in your body. Not like, okay, well, I found this outfit that really hides everything about my stomach. No. That's not what I'm talking to you about today. What I'm talking to you about is you're getting in front of the mirror, you're completely naked, you're with your spouse, you're being intimate, and you're feeling good about the way you look with nothing on. Because that's where we got to get, like, ultimately, that's where we need to get. Because I can hide anything all day long from the rest of the world, but I can't hide the way my stomach looks from myself. And I certainly can't hide it from my husband. There are going to be people that see my stomach, very limited number, but I want to be one of the people that likes the way I look. And I have had to choose over the last couple of months to celebrate my stomach instead of hate it. And that is hard, and it requires a whole lot of daily, thoughts in my mind. I am going to like the way this looks. Instead of allowing my standard of beauty to be a flat stomach with lots of abs, that is not what my stomach will ever look like. And I'm not saying that can't be beautiful or one of the things that I consider to look nice, but I need to allow room for the way my stomach looks and understand that the stretch marks are never going away. Guys, I have tried a lot of like natural ways to get rid of the stretch marks, and I did see some change with what I did, but the most I was able to do was to get rid of some of that purple look that the newer stretch marks hadn't faded away, but the old ones, nothing really changed with them. So I don't regret trying to get rid of some of those stretch marks, but I'm just letting you know, they're there. They're always going to be there. There is absolutely no, do I have sex with the lights on? Yes, I have sex with the lights on. I can't have sex in the dark. Oh my goodness, I can't. I would not know how to get into place. I gotta see what's going on. Oh my goodness, I'm so klutzy, and I can actually see in the dark to a degree, but there are just some things you cannot do without the lights on. And I know that there are a lot of women out there who feel like they can't have sex with the lights on, and I encourage you to cut them on. I honestly didn't know people were still getting under the covers and cutting lights off to have sex, because I don't know, I assumed that was something people did because of an inability to light a room, you know. I mean, obviously there was a point when, you know, we had to have candles on and stuff because, you know, because of an era where there wasn't electricity, but now we have electricity. So, I mean, just cut the lights on. I mean, I don't want an overhead light shining in my face, so I'm going to use lamps and stuff for lower lighting. But as far as body consciousness goes, yeah, even as much as I don't like the way my stomach looks, or, you know, like I'm having to really work through that and struggle with the way my body looks. I mean, goodness, when I was pregnant, that was hard. I mean, I've never been so big in my life, and you know, the stretch marks were even more noticeable. And when you get super big and you're pregnant, it's very hard. But I've always felt lights need to be on. You need to be able to see your lover. You need to look in their eyes. And I'm not saying don't ever have sex with the lights off, because there might be a time when you want to do that. But if you don't ever have the lights on, I encourage you to make that more the norm than having lights off. And, you know, and I understand maybe sometimes you roll over and you get ready to go to sleep, and it's like, wait a minute, I really did want to have sex with him, and cutting the lights on is going to blind everybody in the room. Not fun either, you know. But if the lights are on, okay, yeah, I've always had sex with the lights on, except for, like I said, on the occasion if we roll over and we are going to sleep and one of us is like, okay, I lied, I did need sex. We may or may not cut the lights back on. Normally we do, but it kills my eyes, so it's kind of like, okay, well, I can't see you. That would probably be the only exception, really. And, yeah, I mean, I will tell you that I know a lot of women struggle with that. And again, like I was saying, I want to celebrate my stomach. I do. It's hard. It's hard to admit that. It's hard to say, I want to think my stomach is beautiful because it's not flat. Well, guess what, people? My stomach's never been flat. It never has. Not as a teenager, no. Maybe when I laid down and kind of pulled, right? So really, at some point, you just have to go, well, hey, this is what my body looks like, and I'm either going to accept it or I'm never going to get in front of a mirror ever again. And that's terrible. And one of the things I wanted to share with you is that if you do not like the way you look, it is going to be very hard for you to be sexually satisfied. Suck it in. Well, I suck it in all day, girl, and I'm telling you, it's still there. I have had C-sections, and I'm going to tell you what a C-section stomach looks like. Have you ever seen someone wear like a belt around their stomach and their belly is too big, it hangs over? Well, that's what someone's body looks like when you've had cesarean. It's like that incision line is a belt and your stomach just hangs on over top of it. I mean, it's true. That's how it goes. And so the thinner my stomach gets, the smaller it gets, the less it does that. But mostly it still just hangs on over. You know, I don't know what other people who haven't had cesarean stomachs look like. But that's what my stomach looks like. It just looks like I got a belt on and my stomach is hanging over top of it. And it's not pretty and I don't love it. But I have to learn to love it. I have to learn to accept it. I have to learn to make room for my body to be beautiful. And not think, well, there is only one thing out there that's beautiful, and that's a flat stomach with abs. No. There's plenty of things out there that are beautiful, and your body is one of those things. So don't get it in your mind that this is the only thing that can be beautiful. This is the only thing that anybody in the whole entire world can think is beautiful. That's so untrue. And as far as your husband goes, I mean, I hope that you're with a man that loves your body. Most men love their wives' bodies. Some men maybe don't. Maybe some men are just absolutely, yes, once you love your body, you can be more sexy. You can have that attitude of sexiness. And I want to tell you something. Your attitude has so much to do with your sexiness. If you come into a situation with your husband in the bedroom and say, listen, I want to have sex with you and I'm feeling like having sex and I'm going to act sexy, your husband is going to see that. I mean, it has so much to do with attitude, not as much to do with the way you look. It's with the way you carry yourself. If you believe it, others will too. And so I encourage you to celebrate that part of your body that you don't like all that much. And, you know, my husband has to constantly remind me that my children were born in my stomach. And they are the reason that I have the stretch marks, okay? I'm going to blame it on them all day because it truly is their fault. I had a very tiny waist before they came along. And truthfully, the first kid, I actually didn't care that my stomach was bigger after him because pants actually fit me. But every kid thereafter has just pushed me over that point of, all right, well, I can't wear this because I can't button it around my stomach. That happens, you know? So whatever that part of your body is, maybe it's your whole body, maybe it's one area of your body that you're like, I just don't like this about myself, and focus on that area and find a way to celebrate that area. Decorate that part of your body. Whether it's wearing something that reveals that part of your body that you always want to cover up, or maybe you think, well, I'm going to put a tattoo on that part of my body, or I'm going to, you know, decorate that part of my body in some way. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up here. I don't know. But instead of hiding it, really celebrate it by exposing it. Okay? Whatever that area of your body is that you don't care for that much, celebrate it in some way. Let your husband, or if you are a man watching my scope today and there's a part of your body you don't, you know, you feel bad about, let your spouse just dote on that area of your body. Let them know that you feel like self-conscious about it, and let them kiss that area. Let them rub that area or hug that area or look at that area because they want to. They want to celebrate your body too, so let them. And I encourage you guys, if you're having sex with the lights off because of body image issues, please reconsider that. Now, I mean, if you're in a situation where it's like, well, I have some sheer curtains and cutting lights on should give the whole neighborhood a show, well, I hope you'll get less sheer curtains and go with that. But, you know, but if it's a body image thing, how can you possibly get over those issues if you always have the lights off and never look at yourself in the mirror? You got to make some moves in that direction. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And I also wanted to tell you about a giveaway I'm doing if anybody's still on the scope. And I will be giving this book away probably all week. And the way you can sign up to be part of this giveaway is to tweet at me, Love, Hope, Advent. Just tweet at me something that you love about your body. And this is a 1-year devotional prayer book. It is leather. I mean, it's actually really a nice book, and I don't even know where we received this from, but I wanted to give it away because we haven't utilized it. We do other things for devotions. I use a Bible app, and my husband listens to things, but this has 52 weeks. Let's see, and it has like a scripture, a short devotional, and something you can pray for each day. So this is the book I'm giving away. Just tweet at me something that you like about your body, or if you don't want to put that on Twitter, just say, I want to enter your giveaway. Either one, I'll accept it. I'll put your names in a bowl at the end of the week, and my 5-year-old will draw them out for you. And we will decide on a winner, and I'll get your address and mail it to you. So thank you guys for joining me. And if you want to find out what else I'm blogging about this week, go over to lovehipadventure.com, where I will be updating pretty often during the week. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow around the same time. Have a great day.